In today's episode, I want to clarify the notion about this infamous 21 million hard cap supply for Bitcoin in the actual code itself, because I found there is a function that certainly controls the 21 million hard cap limit rule. So let's jump into it, and I'll leave you a couple of links and resources so you can do your own investigation. Now, the Bitcoin core, which is an open source, as it says here, is a direct descendant of the original Bitcoin software client released by the Satoshi Nakamoto after he published the famous Bitcoin white paper. Now, it is very important they understand the notion of the nodes itself that are within the Bitcoin network. Every new node participant in the Bitcoin network, they have to download what is called the Bitcoin client software. And it's within this software that actually controls all of the Bitcoin principles around the 21 million hard cap limit, the consensus mechanism, so that no one of these nodes can actually have a greater influence than the other node participant in the network in terms of introducing changes to the code itself, and also the double spend problem. All of these fundamental principles for Bitcoin is actually embedded in this software code itself. Now, the 21 million hard cap, what I did was I've clicked on the GitHub source code. If you click on this link, and if you go into the open source project, it opens up the GitHub, where it has a huge library of the Bitcoin client software. Now, programming language responsible for this is C++, and where I found the 21 million hard cap limit is in here. It's called a GetBlockSubsidy. And what I did was, just to simplify the explanation of this, because I wouldn't expect investors and non-computer science literate people out there to understand these codes. So what I did was, just to make it simple, I've copy and pasted the actual C++ function, which is called validation.cpp, as an inquiry in ChatGPT, just to confirm the existence and whereabouts in the code file itself of the 21 million cap control. So this is what the answer that the actual inquiry in ChatGPT has spit out. It says that the direct control, there is no single rule that explicitly states the Bitcoin supply is indeed capped at 21 million. Instead, and this is the key point, the supply limit emerges indirectly from the block subsidy halving mechanism, which is implemented in the GetBlockSubsidy C++ function. And then it gives an English layman terms explanation of this critical function. It says, in 2009, the famous Genesis block, it started out then as the 50 Bitcoin per block for the first 210 blocks. It is the number of blocks mined during every 4-year halving cycle. And if you multiply 50 Bitcoins for each one of these first 210 blocks, it gives around 10 million, more or less, minted Bitcoins during the first 4 years of existence. And then every successive 4-year halving that takes place after that, the 50 Bitcoins becomes 25 in the next halving, and then 12.5, and so on, until after the 33 halvings, the subsidy becomes 0. Now, this is fundamental because once it reaches 0, which I think is expected to take place at 2140, which is the year where the subsidy reward for mining new Bitcoins in every block becomes 0. That is the fundamental capped supply limit in Bitcoin. And so in summary, there isn't any hard code constant variable that says, if it reaches 21 million Bitcoins, that's it. We're not going to allow the Bitcoin network to mine new Bitcoins. No, it's actually controlled by this GetBlockSubsidy function, which is the critical function in the entire code itself, that if you sum all of the subsidy rewards that's taken place throughout the 140-year period, it will result the 21 million Bitcoins. And at that point, no more Bitcoins will be minted or mined after that. You can certainly refer to this GitHub, which I'd recommend that you do, and just corroborate what I've just said here. And also, I'd encourage you to go into this bitcoincore.org, and if you click on the first link, the open source, it spits out the original GitHub repository where all of these C++ source code files are kept and managed by this large community of developers. Just found it very fascinating because it gives you the extra comfort that as and when you start to invest into the Bitcoin network itself, that there is that comfort. So if you enjoyed today's episode, I'd appreciate your support to like and share the video to your friends and family and colleagues at work. And if you haven't done so, to please subscribe to my channel, as I regularly post some interesting videos such as these with anything to do with Bitcoin, blockchain technology, and the future of finance. So I'll see you next time.